Testing the mic, testing the mic, testing the mic, testing the mic.
I hear it coming through. Do you? I hear mine.
I hear you. I hear you. Dum, da, da. Ryan, can you sing something?
Check. Check. Yep. Yep.
What did your timing? That's it. No, I'm just leaving that one there.
Yeah.
What keys this one? No. Yeah, no, that's good. Yep, that's good.
Elysium? Elysium?
Brother, do you believe in an afterlife? Our souls
Everyone squish together. We can hear you.
Brother, do you believe in an afterlife? Our souls are both gone. Somewhere Elysium, way up in the sky, free from our shackles, our chains, our walls, our foes. We'll open all the gates. We'll walk endless, straight into the light. I've never felt hope that age does not erase all that you've seen. Don't let bitterness become you. Your only hopes are all within you. Just hold out against the night. Guard your home with your life.
Dreaming my dreams and that. All the things you said to me today changed my perspective in every way. These things count to mean so much to me. Into my faith, you and your baby. It's out there, it's out there, it's out there. If you want me, I'll be here. It's out there, it's out there, it's out there. If you want me, I'll be here. I'll be dreaming my dreams with you. I'll be dreaming my dreams with you. And there's no other place that I'd lay down my face. And I'll be dreaming my dreams with you. It's out there, it's out there, it's out there. If you want me, I'll be here. It's out there, it's out there, it's out there. If you want me, I'll be here. I'll be dreaming my dreams with you. I'll be dreaming my dreams with you. And there's no other place that I'd lay down my face. I'll be dreaming my dreams with you. I'll be dreaming my dreams with you. I'll be dreaming my dreams with you. And there's no other place that I'd lay down my face. Dreaming my dreams with you. Rows and flows of angel hair, and ice cream castles in the air, and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but the clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds' illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let 'em know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. Oh, but now old friends, they're acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
A dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows, and the dream is just a vessel that must follow where it goes, trying to learn from what's behind you, never knowing what's in store, makes each day a constant battle just to stay between the shores. I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters reach the sky, and I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my till the river runs dry. Too many times we stand aside and let the water slip away, till what we put off till tomorrow has now become today. So don't you sit upon the shoreline and say you're satisfied, just to chance the rapids and dare to dance the tide. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Oh, there's bound to be rough waters, and I know I'll take some falls, but with the good Lord as my captain, I can make it through them all. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky. I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Shadows are falling and I'm running out of breath. Keep me in your heart for a while. If I leave you, it doesn't mean I loved you any less. Keep me in your heart for a while. When you get up in the morning and you see that crazy sun, keep me in your heart for a while. There's a train leaving nightly call when all is said and done. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sometimes when you're doing simple things around the house, maybe you'll think of me and smile. You know I'm tied to you like the buttons on your blouse. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. sky fall into view. When the winter comes, keep the fires lit, and I'll be right next to you. Engines, drivers headed north up to Pleasant Stream. Keep me in your heart for a while. These wheels keep turning, but they're running out of steam. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while.
When my body won't hold me anymore, and it finally lets me free, will I be ready? When my feet won't walk another mile, and my lips give their last kiss goodbye, will my hands be steady? But are my fears, my hopes and my doubts, the rings on my fingers and keys to my house, with no hard feelings. When the sun hangs low in the west, and the light in my chest won't be kept held at bay any longer, when the jealousy fades away and it's ash and dust for cash and lust, and it's just hallelujah and love in the thoughts and love in the words, love in the songs they sing in the church, and no hard feelings. Lord knows they haven't done much good for anyone, kept me afraid and cold, with so much to have and hold. When my body won't hold me anymore, and it finally lets me free, where will I go? Will the trade winds take me south through Georgia grain or tropical rain? the snow from the heaven? Will I join with the ocean blue, or run into the Savior true and shake hands laughing and walk through the night straight through the light, holding the love I've known in my life, and know
You may be seated. Welcome. Welcome to those joining us via live stream in another part of this building or in some other part of this world. Welcome to those here in this sacred space. This space where Kendra began her formal ministry, from which she preached her early sermons and worshiped with others of faith. Kendra would surely have wanted us to acknowledge that this sacred space is situated on lands inhabited by the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and neutral peoples since time immemorial. Welcome to this ancient sacred space. Welcome to the space that we create as we gather to remember Kendra Joy Whitfield Ellis, daughter, mother, wife, sister, aunt, friend, pastor, mentor, artist, playful companion, conveyor of blessings, deep listener, gentle, genuine presence, and embodiment of God's love. It is fitting that we come together to remember such an exceptional person, to grieve, to gather in worship, find comfort in one another's presence, and to celebrate a life well lived. Kendra's untimely death has reminded us of the fragile nature and the sacred nature of all life around this planet, including the earth itself. Let's pray. God of welcome and grace, be with us as we gather together this afternoon. In our sorrow, God, we need to be together, and we need to be in your presence, because Kendra's death has shifted the earth beneath our feet. The tide of our grief roars and foams and is threatening to overwhelm us. Be our refuge. Be our strength. Let us depend on your faithfulness, that you will carry each one of us through this time of mourning and into the life we must now live. Let us rejoice in your faithfulness, that you have carried us through the initial shock and carried Kendra through her death into oneness with you. We pray that this service be one touchstone on our journeys with grief, and that our prayers, remembrances, and singing assist us to continue to live without Kendra's physical presence. Send your Spirit, the Comforter, to dwell among and within us. Help us to grow a spirit of welcome, love, and grace as we remember and celebrate your beloved child. We pray in the name of the risen Christ, who brings new life to us all. Amen.
The music for today was chosen by Pete and family for the prelude and the service based on favorite songs and hymns, and nature spoke quite wonderfully for much of Kendra's life. For the beauty of the earth, let's raise our voices in song. It can be found number 120 in our Voices Together. I invite you to stand as you're able as we sing together.
Oh,
Good afternoon. My name is Brian McBay. I've been friends with Pete since grade 5, when my family moved up the hill and into the catchment area of Camden Public School. I met Kendra in grade 10 when she joined our class at Great Lakes Christian High School. Kendra was the vice to my president on student council, although she did most of the work, if I'm being honest. She, Pete, and I also acted in several dramatic productions together and sang in the chorus. After graduating from Great Lakes, Kendra, Pete, and I worked at Strawberry Point Christian Camp on Manitoulin Island as counselors and then volunteers for the next few years. Kendra and Pete were also the ones who encouraged me to apply to Conrad Grebel College, even as a non-Mennonite Wilfrid Laurier student. Since Grebel, our lives have taken us in different directions, but those bonds of friendship have stayed strong. Before I introduce and give context to the songs that I'm going to play, I want to first acknowledge and thank all the people who you will not hear from today and who have as much reason to be up here as I do. People who love and are deeply loved by Kendra and her family. People who have instead chosen to serve quietly, faithfully, prayerfully in the background. In the mid to late 90s, the song Breath of Heaven by Amy Grant was sung by Kendra, her cousins Emily and Lacey, and her sister Sadie in the Great Lakes chorus. The song gives voice to Mary's fears as she carries God's Son within her and her faith-filled plea, breath of heaven, hold me together, be forever near me, breath of heaven. When Pastor Carmen spoke to the congregation at Waterloo North 2 weeks ago, she said that Kendra's spirit, or breath, is now with God. God's spirit is always with us, and so Kendra is now always with us. Carmen's words opened a new layer of meaning to the lyrics. Breath of heaven, hold me together. The song, Great Are You, Lord, by All Sons and Daughters was a favorite in our daily worship at Strawberry Point when Pete and Kendra returned there for Family Week in 2017 and 2018. The song repeats the refrain, it's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Since July 13th, these have been hard words to sing. Why do we give God praise? Why did Kendra? I can't answer for her, but I imagine one reason was she recognized God's breath within her as the reason for her being, and within those around her who gave her so much joy. Pete, Kai, Ollie, her family and friends, her church. Breath of heaven, hold me together. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Breath of heaven, breath of heaven.
Psalm 139, 13 to 18. For it was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works that I know very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes beheld my unformed substance. In your book were written all the days that were formed for me, when none of them as yet existed. How weighty to me are your thoughts, O God! How vast is the sum of them! I try to count them. They are more than the sand. I come to an end, and I am still with you.
Hi. I'm Kendra's brother Nathan. We wish that our sister Sadie could be standing up here with us, but she wrote something beautiful that we're going to read for you here. There your coat are and your jeans are hanging over your chair, but you are not there. Where are you? We enjoyed our play together under the big tree, different sides of family and each other. You were the leader of the pack. Your simple hello was so nice. You loved horses and frogs and the farm. Big-hearted person with beauty within you. You helped me and everyone. Your world was right, in love and peace. But the time changed and the wind blew. Where are you? I love you, Kendi, from Sadie. I thought immediately when we were talking about saying something at the funeral that I couldn't and wouldn't be able to. We're still there. I'm not going to take but a couple minutes. Just hopefully I can spit it out because Ken deserves that from me. Ken, as you all know, was quick to apologize. Sorry was a very common phrase. In fact, sometimes if we were sitting around and discussing something, she didn't like how she sounded saying something, or she didn't like a point of view, she would just apologize. And then if you were quick, pointing out the other opposite side of the argument, she would apologize again. And you could get her caught in a bit of a sorry loop. And then when there was enough sorries said, we could all chuckle about it. And if you add Anu into the mix, the sorries are just flying, and too much sorries. You might think that Kenj was a pushover and didn't have a strong opinion, but that's where you'd be wrong.
My sister was so convicted to her faith, so strong in her ability to feel people, with people, for people, through people. I believe the reason she said sorry so much was due to the fact that she cared so much to her core about the people around her. She wouldn't never want anybody to feel small, left out, belittled, or sad. She lifted people up with her warm smile, a big hug, or a kind and often deep thought. She made everyone around her welcome and comforted. She made sure you knew that you meant something special. It is a testament to her that everybody is gathered here today. And I want to thank everyone who is here and those of you who couldn't be here. But wish they could. Thank you. Kenj knows and sees every one of you. Kenj, I'm so proud to be your little brother. You gave of yourself so fully to all of us that the loss just seems so great. I wish for more time, but I cherish all of the memories. You left us with a great example to walk after. You led the way for us, and like everyone else in the world that you were around, you lifted us up and held us up. I'm going to miss cuddling up to you, wrapped in a blanket. On a couch at the farm. I'm going to miss those late night hangouts around the table together, playing games or cards or just eating and chatting and all the stupid things we would laugh so hard over. I'm going to miss you checking in every so often to see if I was okay, to tell me that you love me or miss me out of the blue. Your smile and your hugs were much like your Oma's, but in a very Kenj way. You were a fantastic mother, daughter, sister, granddaughter, cousin, and friend to all. You were in the very top tier of people to walk this earth, in my opinion, and I love you. Petey, you've been part of our family for so long. You literally feel more like a brother and a friend than anything else at this point. I want to thank you for the happiness you brought my sister, for all of the 28 years you were together, for the family unit, the beautiful family unit you guys created, and the love that we've all been lucky enough to share in. Kai and alls, I know this is so hard. That loss is unbearable. Know also how proud she was of you two, how fierce her mother's love was. She left an imprint in you and on you that is unmistakable. We are proud of you and here for you. And on better days, when you're able to smile, smile big and smile often, because then we get to see a glimpse of your mom in you. Thanks.
Just need a second. For those of you who may not know, I am the baby of the family. Kenj, as we called her, was the oldest, the big sister. She was 9 years older than me, and growing up was almost like a pseudo-parent to me. One of the earliest memories I have is standing in a hayfield with my 4 siblings. I was very young and I can't remember as much of it as I used to. But I remember it was a beautiful summer day. The hay was cut. I remember that all 5 of us were there. And I remember that my big sister, Kenj, in some way acknowledged me and made me feel seen. When you grow up in a family of 5 kids, your parents are outnumbered. And even blessed as we were to have our beloved Oma, living with us, there were going to be times for any of us kids that we might not get the attention we wanted. My big sister filled those gaps. She had so much time and patience with me and with us. When I was a little older, we went on a road trip to the West Coast. Our family piled into our Dodge Caravan, Mom, Dad, and 5 kids. We drove up to the Sioux and met up with our amazing travel-seasoned grandparents, Lloyd and Eunice. We set off on a trip that holds a special place in all our hearts. An awesome adventure that I think sits at the root of my love of travel. We saw and experienced some incredible things I will never forget. And I'm truly grateful to Mom and Dad and Grandma and Grandpa for that experience for us 5 kids together. But one of my biggest memories from that trip is of my big sister. We had many long days in the van, just driving and driving. And I was young and would get bored and schniggly and annoyed. But I will always remember the love and patience Kench had for me. Rubbing my back, giving me face massages, talking to me, entertaining me, loving me. I don't know if I ever actually thanked her for being the best, most loving big sister you could ever ask for. So, big sister, thank you. I truly would not be who I am today if it weren't for you. I am eternally grateful to have had you in my life. For years I've wondered, where does someone's being end? Do you end at your skin or your clothes? Do you end at your feet or the places you inhabit? Do you end at your head or your thoughts and your words? Do you end at your fingertips or the things and people you touch and affect? In the days following my big sister's death, we gathered at her home. There was nowhere else to be. We kept remarking that she was everywhere you looked. An artist and a creator, she had left her mark all throughout her home. Like tiny fragments of her being, and we were there, desperately trying to soak them up. And that's why we're all here today. Not only did Kenj create beautiful things and spaces, She affected lives. She was an artist, a pastor, a healer, a listener, a cousin, a sister, a wife, a daughter, and a mother. With incredible kindness and love, she reached out into the world. With a smile in her eyes, she saw you. With a kind word and a hug, she loved you. She has left pieces of her being in all of us. Kai and Ollie, and you too, most of all. I love you both so much. I see her in you every day, and it fills my heart with joy. Petey in you as well. She chose you before anyone else. She loved you so much. She will always love you three. You carry her with you wherever you go. I love you all, and I'm so grateful you have all come here to honor her, to share with us and each other the piece of her she left with you. My big sister has moved on from here, but the ripples her life has made continue on, and I know the world is a better place because of her.
I'm sorry, there's so many of us. I'm the last one. I'm not going to make eye contact, so yes. I carry your heart within my heart. That was the last text I have from my sister, Kenj. From the day I was born, she has been carrying my heart within her heart. I'm sorry. She is my very best friend and my soulmate. I've written and rewritten this so many times, I've lost count. I can't seem to put her into the right words. How do you sum up the other half that makes you feel whole? Just like there aren't enough words for this kind of loss, there aren't enough words for her kind of love. She was the most giving person I know, as many of you have experienced. There are more times than I can count when she was there for me in the smallest and biggest ways. I remember when I was pregnant with Myra, and I told Anu I wanted Kenj to be in the room with us when I gave birth. At first, he wondered if it was necessary. But then he watched a video of a woman giving birth and quickly got on board. And so there she was at the birth of Myra, and then Krishna, and then Devi, taking care of me, taking care of Anu, just being there, just being her. And even when she couldn't be in the room for Archie's birth, she was with the other three, holding them tight and waiting together for our return. I was always so happy when I could do things for her, like when she finally would decide to clean her room. She would call asking me to keep her company, but we both knew that meant I was coming to clean her room while she kept me company. Then there was the time when I took her to get her G2. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'm 7 years younger than her. She had maxed out her G1 for as long as she could, 10 years. And in that time, I'd already gotten mine. She may have hit another car in the parking lot while practicing before the test, but she still managed to pass. Kenj had a wild imagination, and that meant she didn't like to be alone at night. So I would always go and sleep with her on those nights so she wouldn't get too scared. Sometimes her imagination got the best of us, though, like when she was certain there was a man hiding in the trunk of her car. Spoiler alert, it turned out to be a can of oil, and I still peed my pants. Or that wearing heels would somehow protect us from the giant mouse that was going to bite our ankles. We did put on the heels. I always imagined us old and gray together. Sitting on the front porch of the farm, reliving stories just like those. Just like how we've listened to Mom and Dad do with their siblings for so many years. Their laughs would trail up the stairs to surround us while we slept. I am devastated to lose her so soon. There were so many more memories we were supposed to make. This week I've been rewatching all of our favorite movies. Pride and Prejudice, Dirty Dancing, and Little Women, to name a few. Whenever we'd watch these movies, she'd always tell me I was just like the heroine in the story. But the thing is, she has always been the heroine to me. As kids, we made up many dances to different songs, one of them being Wind Beneath My Wings. And it's been the heartbeat of how I have felt about her since the first time I heard it. Kenj, did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wish I could be. I could fly higher than an eagle because you, the wind beneath my wings. The bond that we shared is irreplaceable. She showed up for me in a way that no one could. She formed me into the person I am today. I'll always be grateful that I followed Kenj to UW and Grable. It's hard to live away from Mom and Dad and my other siblings, but at least I always had Kenj. She was always with me. Earlier this week, Myra told me that she doesn't like when we use Auntie Kenj in the past tense, because she says Auntie Kenj still is, and she's right. I know she's gone, but she is still my strength. The light that carries me through the darkest of days, the joy that will belly laugh alongside me. She is still the wind beneath my wings and the greatest person I have ever known. I love you, Kenj.
Down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while. Raise me up so
But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
You raise me up to more than I can be.
Hello, everyone. Algan and I and our family want to thank you very much. Boy, I just wrecked something here. Want to thank you very, very much for being here, those who are here physically, and all those who are with us live streamed from places around the world. I have a special shout out and mention to my mother-in-law, Algan's mom, Kendra's grandma, who is watching live stream at the Pine Hill Church of Christ in Sault Ste. Marie. I would also like to mention my sister Ruth, who was up last week but could not stay for the funeral in order so the siblings could gather with me at the farm. She and her family are in Florida. I would like to also mention my mom's family in Germany and my dad's family in Czechia, and all the ones unknown who are with us today virtually, and all our close friends and family who are with us in heart. You are, all of you, like a cloud of love and support all around us that have immediately come to our sides with love from the moment it was heard that Kendra had passed. Thank you very much. We love you. How does one cope with the loss of a child? I know it's not unusual. I know many of you and us have gone through this, but we haven't. Kendra was our child, our firstborn, our joy, our kindred spirit. In a very strong relationship, one doesn't always need conversation, doesn't need togetherness. As long as the relationship lives in the heart, loved ones will never be apart. Kendra, our joy, survived the very early attempts of new parenting by Elgin and I, who were in constant wonder of her. I don't have to look at my notes for this part. I know what the first momentous occasion was. She was not a month old, and there was a big event in our family. It was the wedding of Elgin's brother Wayne to Lori, and they lived in Windsor and we lived in Grimsby. That's quite a long trip when you've never traveled anyone with a newborn. And so as caring parents, we bundled her all up, placed her in a car bed, back seat of the car. The car bed was tied up, but not our precious baby. Those were the days. And before we even left Grimsby, Elgin needed to fill up the car with gas, and Kendra threw up for the first time on that long trip. Never crossed my mind that you could get car sick, a baby could get car sick, teetering back and forth in loose in a car bed. By the time we got to Windsor, and Elgin's family was all on the front stairs awaiting their first, especially his parents, their first grandchild, all looking forward to seeing their first grandchild. I just kind of marched out of the car and nearly threw my beloved Kendra into the arms of her grandparents, a squalling mass of, what are they doing to me? That's what was going on there. And Elgin's dad paced with her and walked with her, patient, loving Lloyd, paced with her and walked with her that whole time of the dress rehearsal. And then it was time to go somewhere and rest. I was exhausted, a nervous exhaustion. We were staying with Paul and Kathy McKenzie, and somebody suggested to me why don't you stop and get a bottle of formula on the way, so we did. We fed Kendra a bottle of formula. She fell immediately asleep, slept the night through, and in the morning threw all that formula up. And then Elgin and I thought to look at the instructions, and it said dilute half with water. And Kendra obviously survived all that. We never needed a bottle of formula again. She nursed every 3 hours till she was, I don't know what, was 26 pounds by the time she was 6 months. That girl, healthy girl, loving girl, and so loving to survive that with us. As she grew and our family grew to 5 children, Kendra's special talents began to emerge through her nurturing relationship with her siblings and her love of words, writing, feeling, expressing, connecting, drawing, painting, creating. Whether it was encouraging her siblings to bring the nativity to life at Christmas time, which was a usual occurrence at our house. They all played different parts every year. Or rocking and dancing to ABBA, where she could get her brother Nate to dress up in costumes he generally would not ever have wanted to. And these early dramatic presentations became a regular occurrence at the Zilla Christmas gatherings when all the cousins joined Kendra, the leader of the pack, in presenting these wonderful pageants to our family. One day in her grade 8 year, I received a call from Kendra asking me to go to the top drawer in the dresser and find her first draft, working copy, of a paper she had written. She was in the school office, and the administration was finding it hard to believe that Kendra had written a piece that she called The Colors of My World, and were convinced it was plagiarized. They had to apologize to her. The colors of my world, so indicative of the way our daughter looked at the world, God's world, in full-blown color. She was an artist, as we all know, in her own right, but her writing was also art. She stroked and woven with incredible phrases and filled with insights of faith and worship and communion and incredible vitality. Kendra chose the ministry pastorship as her life work, or God chose her, but her God-given talent was ministering. She ministered to her family, Pete and Kai and Ollie, in the best way possible, to her larger family and her larger family and her larger family. You get what I mean. She ministered to her church family, her community, and many friends. With her warmth, her loving spirit, her carefully chosen words, her very giving hands, making and doing, painting and writing, she listened so well and so hard to everyone that she met. And she acknowledged each person's life journey. She affirmed and encouraged all of us. Someone said having days together with your grown children is like visiting with the most treasured and beautiful parts of your life, guys. Our favorite pastime was gathering with our children and listening to their stories, their experiences, adventures, their God moments, and all the joking and the laughing that went with it. Elgin and I were looking forward to a talk with Kendra after their recent camping trip. It was always a blessed experience to engage in a Kendra talk, a discussion with her. We were always uplifted by her wisdom and insights and her faith. And she had this wonderful way of reframing things that I might say. I'm fairly outspoken, if you don't know me very well. And Kendra had this lovely, kind way of reframing what I had just said to make it sound like it's a lovely thing. So you may know that, or not know, but Pete and Kendra spent a couple of years in China, and we missed them dreadfully. One day, Elgin and I always did a lot of work, and we got all this stuff together to send them for Christmas because we missed them. And basically, all the things we sent were made in China. But she loved it. So in 2005, they were in China, obviously. Elgin and I were getting ready, and we had prepared the farm because Heidi and Jay, my niece Heidi and her husband Jay, were getting married on the farm. And I was out in the garden with my garden scissors doing the last bit of deadheading, and Elgin called me and he said, "There's a car I don't really recognize coming into the lane," and so I wandered out to look. And our lane is a little bit long. And, you know, I'm squinting my eyes and trying to see, and the car stops all of a sudden, and the door opens, and this person gets out, and I'm looking, and then Kendra yells, "Mom!" And the two fastest runners in the family ran up that lane, and I still feel that hug, okay? I feel that hug. We were blubbering and laughing and hugging. And then we walked arm in arm up the rest of the lane. In closing, I would like to read Kendra's words to you. My friend, Evelyn, gave our family a gift last week after I called her to tell her the dreadful news. A little bit lighter, she's very good about searching and finding things. She found a talk that Kendra did on YouTube 10 years ago, I'm sure at a Mennonite convention at Niagara College on entrepreneurship and spirituality. And what a gift that was to us, because we didn't even know it existed. And so, of course, we've been passing it around the family, and we'll pass it further, just to hear her and her wisdom and her vitality. And Evelyn also sent a post, which was much more recent, I think just from a couple years ago. And somebody must have asked her about her work in Waterloo North. And I end with Kendra's words. I experience God's presence in many ways in the Waterloo North Mennonite congregation, where I have the privilege to share in ministry. One of the most profound ways that I have witnessed God at work has been through an online grief group that emerged after several people had experienced the deaths of loved ones in our congregation. These experiences of loss and grief, as many of us know, have been magnified during this pandemic time period. The way this group listens and cares for each other, along with each member sharing so vulnerably and openly, is the evidence of the sacredness of God with us. Our Lord is a God with skin who sits among us, cries with us, and carries what is too great for each of us to bear alone. God bless us all.
You're about to see fairly quickly who the strongest one in the family is, who is able to keep things together. And we'll do the best we can. I also wanted to add to what Mel said about so many people being here today and in other places listening. She mentioned my mother and the group with the church and the Sioux. And also, I think of my cousins, the Whitfield cousins down in Thessalon have gathered and are watching. And I know there are other groups in different places. And so we thank you all for your participation and your spirit. I've done many funerals in my life. And usually somewhere in the speaking and reading, you read Psalm 22. My God, why have you forsaken me? And deal with the question of why and what has happened. And then transition into Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And it all seems to go together easily when you're doing it for someone else. But I've discovered that it's not so easy or simple. Grief is a complicated thing, and we all go through it in different ways. I said to Kayette a few nights ago that it will never be the same, but it will get better. And that I have to hold on to. A picture that comes to my mind is kind of based on a reading called The Ship that is often read at funerals. I'm not going to read that exactly today. It may be familiar to some of you, but the premise is that there is a group watching a ship sail away across the ocean, and I just came to my mind, I'm thinking of my great-great-great-grandfather, Joseph Reynolds, and his wife Sarah, and their 4 children getting on a ship in St. Austell in Cornwall, southern England, and his brother and his family watching them sail off to the New World, knowing that he probably would never see his brother again or his nieces and nephews, that they were gone to that new place, the new opportunities. And I picture him standing there watching, and the groups, and someone saying, as the ship sails out of sight, well, there she goes. And there on the other side would be a group of people waiting for them to come. And as the ship comes into view, and as the peak of the sail comes and it becomes larger and larger, then someone calls out, "Here she comes." And so as she our Kendra disappears from our view, I picture a crowd of people on the other shore, led by her Oma, calling out, "Here she comes." In Ecclesiastes 3:11, Solomon writes, God made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can understand what God has done completely. And I admit with King Solomon that I don't understand completely what happens in this world, and the whys and the what-fors of it. I don't understand the whys of life, but God has put eternity into my heart and into my understanding. And without eternity in my heart, none of this life really makes any sense. And so I hold on to that hope of seeing Kendra again. At the end of the Chronicles of Narnia, C.S. Lewis is summing up the story of the 7 books that he's written, and in the last war, as he closes out the story, which has now come to an end, he says, and for us, this is the end of all the stories. And we must truly say that they lived happily ever after. But for them, it was only the beginning of the real story. All their life in this world and all their adventures in Narnia had only been the cover and the title page. Now at last, they were beginning chapter 1 of the great story, which no one on earth has read, which goes on forever, in which every chapter is better than the one before. And that is the hope that I live with each day. I wanted to speak a little bit on behalf of Kendra today, and some of that has been done already. I appreciate so much Nathan and Melinda and Landon and their ability to communicate what they feel about their big sister. And as I thought about what Kendra might say if she was able to speak to us today, and Nate really caught the essence of it, I think, in what he said. The first words I'm confident out of her mouth would have been, "I'm sorry." I'm sorry for leaving so quickly. I'm sorry for making all of you come here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon when you could be doing something else. I'm sorry for all of the fussing and all the preparation and all the things that you've had to do because of this. And she would genuinely feel that because that's who she was. But then she would say, "Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting my family. Thank you for sharing." I wanted to share some of her own words, and this comes from her ordination service at Waterloo North Mennonite Church on March 8th, 2020. And I think it gives you some flavor of her spiritual journey. The decision to become ordained took some time, she says. It's not a word or an understanding that I grew up with. For me, ordination means simply an acceptance to the call to formal ministry. This is a call that began with curious nudges within my spirit since I was quite young. I've heard God whispering through the Bible camp experiences of my youth, through the trees and the sun while camping with my family, through the scriptures, my questions, tears, fears, the words of mentors, through my theological studies and conversations with the broader church family today. It is a call that continues to shape me as I walk alongside this congregation, as I remember my first pastorate at Floradale Mennonite Church, the rich friendships I found in Grable, and by cherishing my growing up in the Church of Christ tradition. This service is marked with scripture that describes the unexpected ways that God can speak to us, to the ethereal ways that God's Spirit speaks for us when we are moved to a place beyond words. I resonate with these descriptions of our ordinary lives being touched by divine presence. And I pray that the divine presence will continue to touch us because we need it. But then I think Kendra would say to all of us, she would say that she wanted us to carry on and to live the best life that you can live. Be intentional with your life. There is a picture on the front of that program that you may have seen yesterday if you were there, picture of her and her mother. And it could be Kendra and her daughter as well. It's hard to tell sometimes between when you get the baby pictures, they're so similar. But underneath that picture, there is a quote that Kendra took from Mary Oliver, one of her favorite poets. And it says, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild, precious life?" Be intentional with your life. She would say, be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. Find some way to be of service every day. Encourage Lift up whenever you can. Recognize the God spark in everyone you meet, for we are all made in the image of God. The summer of 1981, we were on the farm. We had moved there shortly before, and Kendra was a little girl of 3. It was a hot summer day, and the few cattle that we had gotten through the corner of a fence in the field, and so I was heading to the back corner of the southwest field, the tractor and wagon and some wire and whatever else I had cobbled together to fix a gate there that needed to be repaired. Kendra wanted to come with me, just to help her dad out. And I remember clearly her little blue coveralls that she had and a little red kerchief that her Oma had made for her to protect her from the sun. Little girls didn't wear baseball caps back then, so she had a little red kerchief. We got back across the field and started working on the fence, and she ran out of patience with that and decided she wanted to go back. And I said, well, I'm got to work a little longer to get this fixed so the cattle don't get out again. So, well, I'm going back. And it, not a long distance, but probably a half a mile walk across. And so off she went, her tiny little legs in the long grass. She had short legs like her mother, and very
fast runners.
You could see her moving through the grass and over a knoll and down into a little valley, and I lost sight of her for a while. She was down there, and then eventually up the other side of the hill she came, and heading toward home. She was determined. When I finished the work I was doing, I started back toward the house. Kendra was about 3/4 of the way there. I passed her close to the house. And as I passed her on the tractor, she was walking briskly along, trying to get there. And she looked over at me, and I could see the look of disappointment in her face. I didn't know we were racing. But she obviously did. She was going to be there. She wanted to do this on her own. She wanted to get there on her own. She was going home. Well, kids, you've done so much with your short and beautiful life. You beat me home this time, Kedge. I wish you had. We'll be along soon.
Let's again raise our voices in song as we sing together a hymn that celebrates the nearness to a tactile and a loving God. My God and I invite you to stand as you're able as we sing together. My God.
There really are no words. I have written something that I believe I will read. But anything that I say will not be able to even close represent who my mom was or the love that she had. Anything. There are no words. Now that I'm up here, and there's too much to say, I may as well read what I wrote, or say what I wrote, even though nothing that I say really matters, or will bring her back, or will let me hug her again. This is what I wrote when at camp. It is difficult to start speaking when anything that you could try to convey can't be represented in words. If I say, my mom is dead, one's thoughts do not receive the depth of emotion that those words would provoke in me. Emotion arising from associating meaning with vibrations that we call words, and meaning that feels so utterly wrong. My mom is not dead. She exists in me. She exists in all the people that loved her. She exists in the great blue open sky. And she exists in her spirit, her tangible spirit. She exists in all the ways of aliveness that we can only try to comprehend. But it is different now. I remember her, the day before that day, resting her head on my lap. And I remember her apologizing to me and my brother, apologizing for not being our mom, for not taking care of us, because she was not feeling well. She was in pain and she apologized to us. She apologized when she was the one that was in pain. I remember cuddling with her on the dock that week before at camp, and me telling her, as I've told her since I was very little, that I would always be her little girl. I remember her laughing and being silly. She had a laugh that, if it got to a certain point, would devolve into breathless squeaks. And I loved it. I remember her coming up to me unbidden in that week of camping to tell me that she would miss me at camp, which was supposed to be the following week. She came up to me out of the blue several times, just to smile at me and say that she would miss me. It's different now because that concrete existence of her soft hands and her warm smile and her hugs that made you feel warm from the inside out, they're all gone. I will never again be able to wake up on summer mornings and come downstairs and see her lying in her bed and then her arms outstretched when she sees me, ready to give me a hug. I will never see her at my graduation or talk to her over the phone when I eventually move out. I won't travel the world with her or have her pick me up from camp where she said she would miss me. She won't be able to tell me all the stories that she never told me. Stories that now I'll never know. She won't be there to ask me if I'm okay, which she did very regularly, or to tell me to nourish my body, or to not so subtly ask me if I was wearing deodorant. It happened more times than you would think. I feel her in me. And I see her and I talk to her and I feel her hugging me again and again. But she won't be there in the way that she was. And that doesn't feel real. I feel like I'm in a dream that I'm going to wake up from. And when I think that I should have held her closer, she's there and she's telling me no, Kai. You did all you could. You were the best daughter I could have asked for. And I am lucky to have as much time with you as I did. I know she's saying that with more certainty than my beating heart. And she's comforting me, even when it's her that I'm mourning. Mom, you hold me so close that I feel as if you are still warm-skinned. And great hugs, even after all that mortality achieved with your body. Your paintbrush, the colors of the world ever reminiscent of your life and your love. I love you to the moon and back, as I said since I was little. I love you infinity times. I love you with 2 chains connected, something I also said since I was little. I love you more than words could ever convey. I love you wordlessly and endlessly and always and forever. Again, as words could never convey. So I need not try convey this love with words, but here I am trying. I think it's a human want to try and solidify someone in someone's life, some sort of tangible speech or something, to memorialize the permanence of someone, or to try to keep life as if it's something that can be kept and held to be brought out later. I can't do that. Mom, you were more than anything that any one of us could ever comprehend. And I love you more than even I can comprehend. Every moment of my existence, you are with me. You are with me in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every step. You are part of that boundless and limitless everything that we can't fully understand, but that surrounds us in love and life and brightness and warmth. You are so much. You are wordless. And even though you can't be physically present anymore, you are here. So strongly, you are here with me. You are hugging me. And as my pa said, you are apologizing for leaving so soon. You are saying sorry that it had to be this way. But I'm still here. And I love you. And I know that you love me too. I know. And in all of this, she is with me. You are with me, Mom. And you will be with me even once I return to the stardust from which we all originated, to that wordless connection of life and aliveness. How we are connected in what you called kindred spirit ways. There are no words. There are no words. There are no words.
First of all, I need to express my most sincere appreciation for everyone here celebrating Kendra's life together. And I mean everybody, you know, in the gym, in the foyer, even if they're outside, online, everywhere. I've been truly overwhelmed by the expressions of love, care, and support over the past days since Kendra's sudden and unexpected passing. I was going to name names and name people to thank, but then quickly realized I would miss someone inadvertently, and the list of loved ones who have supported me with a hug, or a meal, or a text, or an email, or a phone call, or a pie is already so long. So long. I have no adequate words to articulate what these expressions of care, love, and support has meant to Ollie, Kai, and the broader Whitfield and Ellis families. I have no other words other than thank you. Kendra loved you all, and she will continue to inspire you and raise you up as only she knew how to do. Wasn't Kendra the best cheerleader ever? She would hate that analogy, but she just had a way that always made you feel better. Like she always knew the right thing to say to you in that moment. You always felt better, always felt inspired, always felt that you could overcome the challenge or stress you were feeling. Kendra had no enemies, only friends, only family, only loved ones. One image that has continued to surface for me over the last few days is an image of Kendra's spirit pulling strings behind the scenes with the blessing of our Creator so that we are comforted during this tragic and inexplicable event. From friends' support during the emergency and at the hospital, to loving distractions when we've needed them, from meals, cards, gift cards, kind words, sharing of memories, even sharing stories at all hours of the night when I can't sleep, from people and places that have emerged from communities past and present to comfort and support me, Kai and Ollie. Only through God could Kendra continue to pull these strings after her passing so that her family, friends, and loved ones are supported and comforted and so well cared for as we grieve. And yes, I know the grieving has barely even started. These many supports and touch points have been small but meaningful moments of tenderness these last 2 weeks. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's funny, Kendra never wanted to be the center of attention, but here she is. Here we are. One of the many questions I've been thinking about over the last 2 weeks is how to adequately celebrate and honor Kendra's beautiful life. I mean, what an impossible task. Where should I start? Where and how should I end? So, like a writer unable to put words together and procrastinating like I'm still in university, Kendra could relate to that. I finally landed on reflecting on some of our early days together. As Brian mentioned, I'll begin in grade 10 at Great Lakes Christian High School in Beamsville, when Kendra and a few others joined our small class. Even from my immature recollection, it was evident that Kendra was super kind and compassionate with others, relating to others with a little hint of mischief, a smile, and often a disarming laugh. But it was so hard to believe that she wasn't a fake with some alternative agenda. Probably most guys just thought she was flirty, as I did in grade 10, because you just felt so good after a conversation with her or after exchanging some witty banter. I remember feeling skeptical of Kendra's authenticity that grade 10 year, despite making a mental note that I needed to keep my eye on her. But with the effect that she could have on you, on everyone, I wasn't the only one keeping my eye on her. It wasn't long over the course of the next year or 3 that I realized that she was the real deal. No hidden agenda or motivations. Kendra genuinely cared for others, everyone, anyone. And if she had a hidden agenda, it was that she made it her personal mission to make others feel good, using all her many gifts of communication and personality. Kendra and I never dated or were ever going out, that's what us kids used to call it, throughout grades 10, 11, and 12, but we were friends, as was our entire class. Some of them are here today. Thank you. However, despite being only friends, we had some inexplicable and meaningful connections on a few occasions in the most tender and beautiful way, before any romance crept in, before that first electric kiss on the ball field at Strawberry Point on Manitoulin Island. We were so young, so young. Just two kids growing up together. Friendship growing into something more, something beautiful. We mutually decided early on that we wanted to navigate life's joys and sorrows together. I think we both realized that we had something special, although at times we questioned it, as all couples tend to do. But we continued to lean on each other and laugh and guffaw and chuckle and snort. There's a theme. But I will always remember laughing. I don't know why she giggled at my stupid jokes, my quirky habits, but she did. She just laughed and kept loving me. It's really unexplainable. Like Kai, I have no words. But after 30 years of being in her presence and 28 years of sharing my life with Kendra, I can honestly say that nothing changed. We laughed. Life threw us more challenges, and these challenges tested us. Eventually, we laughed. We didn't always see eye to eye, but eventually we would laugh again. Usually it was my ego and quirks that were in the way of making amends, but eventually we would laugh again. We all know that Kendra continued to put other people above the needs of herself. She didn't know the meaning of self-care. Believe me, I tried to tell her. I mean, do pastors ever get a day off? I don't know if they do, but it didn't matter. Kendra wouldn't have taken it. She was always encouraging others, always thinking of others before herself. One of Kendra's biggest gifts was her ability to relate to others, be authentic, be genuine. She could quickly find out what motivated people and use that information to encourage, to inspire, to listen, to elicit a positive response, and at times to challenge, but always in the most non-confrontational way. Kendra's sensitivity to others was next level. She knew how to relate to everybody. Within seconds, it's like she could look into your soul and find a way to make you feel special. Kendra's heart was just so big for others, I can't describe it. And I was so good at keeping it together. But these past 2 weeks, I've continued to wake up at 4 a.m. and realize that she's not beside me, not in the house, not alive. I still don't believe it. This has been the first time in my life that I haven't felt like eating, even pie. I love pie. Kendra and I watched The Notebook again about 2 months ago, and you know, spoiler alert, sorry. I always thought that we would be like that couple, you know, sleeping beside each other like we always did, our hearts and breaths stopping at the same time. Never have I shed so many tears, or my heart hurt so much. I know hindsight is not helpful in this moment of darkness and grief, but I continue to ask God why? Why her? Why now? Kendra, I need your light to guide me. I feel blind. We are only kids. Only kids. We are only kids that grew up together. We shared dreams, shared travels, shared our understanding of the world, independently but also together, an inexplicable friendship. We may not have had it all together, but together we had it all. Kendra felt like home to me. I felt safe. I could be vulnerable and be in her presence without judgment or ridicule. Again, she laughed at my idiotic jokes. We cried and we dreamed together, and Kendra left too soon, too soon. If I could do it all over, I wouldn't change anything. I mean that. I'm going to leave you with one final quote, because I've been talking too long probably already. The final quote is from Tom Petty, and I was going to sing it, but I'm not going to try that. That would be bad. So, Kendra, you belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me, far away from your trouble and worry. Kendra, you belong somewhere you feel free. I will always love you, Kendra. Thank you for sharing your life with me. You are the best, and I am forever blessed.
I invite you to rise and sing Seek Ye first. We'll sing verse 1, 2, and then we'll sing verse 1 again. If you know the descant, you are welcome to sing it for verses 2 and then 1.
My name is Meg Bauman. I've had the privilege of calling Kendra one of my dearest friends for over 20 years, raising our families together, the family we choose. Reading from Matthew 5, 1 through 16. Now when he saw the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and he sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them. Jesus said, "Blessed are the spiritually poor, the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Blessed are those who mourn, they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek and the gentle, they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, they will be shown mercy. Blessed are those who are the pure in heart, they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, they will be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, the kingdom of heaven is theirs. And blessed are you, blessed are all of you, when people persecute you or denigrate you or despise you, tell lies about you on my account. But when this happens, rejoice, be glad. Remember that God's prophets have been persecuted in the past, and know that in heaven you have a great reward. You, beloved, are the salt of the earth. But if salt becomes bland and loses its saltiness, can anything make it salty again? No, it's useless. It is tossed out, thrown away, or trampled. And you, beloved, are the light of the world. A city built on a hilltop cannot be hidden. Similarly, it would be silly to light a lamp and then hide it under a bowl. When someone lights a lamp, she puts it on the table, or a desk, or a chair, and the light illuminates the entire house. You are like that illuminating light. Let your light shine everywhere you go, that you may illuminate creation, so that all people everywhere may see your good actions, may see creation at its fullest, may see your devotion to me, and may turn and praise your Father, our Creator in heaven, because of it.
We have heard good and sacred words when there are no words. So I will try to keep my words very brief. At Waterloo North Mennonite Church, the last 2 weeks, we have obviously talked a lot about Kendra and shared words that we think of when we think of Kendra. We've heard many of them here already. Compassionate, kind, deep thinker, easygoing, friendly, authentic, generous. But I wanted to add a word too. The word that I think of when I think of Kendra today might be salty. It's not necessarily the best word, right? The connotations that come to mind. Salty makes us think of people that are a little edgy, maybe quick to be critical, add insult to injury. So why would we say that Kendra would be salty? I think she is salty in the Sermon on the Mount kind of salty. She's salty in the Jesus way salty. Because Kendra drew people to her, but as we have heard, Kendra didn't seek attention. She wanted to add to who we were, to who we are. So Kendra is salty. She's shaking out her salt so that we can know the flavor of the fullness of life. Jesus' words about being salty came after his poetic words on being blessed. Our starting place with Jesus is blessing. We don't have to prove ourselves. We don't have a checklist to do. We are blessed. Blessed is not the word I think of when I have thought of the last 2 weeks. It's not a word that fits easily. It feels a little bit dissonant right now. In the best of times, some of us shy away from the word blessed. It seems easily thrown around and cheap and is often associated with good fortune and wealth. But that's not what Jesus was talking about when he was talking about being blessed, that we are blessed. So what does blessing mean, and how did Kendra, salty Kendra, help us to realize our divinely gifted identity as blessed? Kendra has a small stack of books in her office on a table beside her comfy chair. Kendra would sit in that chair to email, to make phone calls or Zoom calls. She would wrap herself in a cozy Afghan to work on sermons and have a cup of coffee in her hand. I have pictured her so often in that chair these past 2 weeks, looking up at me with a smile when I would lean on the door and ask, "Do you have a minute?" Which would turn into an hour. We were not the most efficient of pastoral teams. Please do not tell our bosses. The book that has been resting most recently at the top of the small pile by her chair is a book by Jan Richardson, The Cure for Sorrow, a book of blessings for times of grief. It has crossed my mind how it feels like Kendra has equipped us for grieving. It's a book she brought to the grief group that she led. We read this book all too recently when we met for Anne and Ralph with their family to plan Ralph's service of celebration. It's a book that holds blessings that we often read at our longest night services at Waterloo North. In her introduction, Richardson, whose husband died unexpectedly, says that blessings hold us open to the presence of God in all circumstances. They open our hearts and our minds to the awareness that God is with us always. Blessings convey God's desire for our wholeness. The book at the bottom of Kendra's short stack is a book by Kate Bowler entitled The Lives We Actually Have, 100 Blessings for Imperfect Days. Kendra and I would often take turns choosing a blessing and read that as we met weekly for our team meetings. Bowler says that blessings have to do with seeing the world as it is and as it should be, and knowing that God is in the midst of it all. Blessings free us to hold the hard and the joyful in our lives with grace. So after Jesus situated himself on the top of that mountain and looked out at the people around him and told them the reality of their lives, and in that reality, they are blessed. Our lives with God begin with blessing, with the promise that God is with us, that God longs for our wholeness. It is a blessing we taste now, and one fully realized when that thin veil between this world and the next is lifted. There are many pastoral colleagues here of Kendra's who shared her saltiness. As pastors, it is our deepest privilege to walk with people through the joys and pains of life. The hard thing is that as much as we would like, we cannot take away people's pain. Only God, the creator of heaven and earth, can do such a thing. But we can follow Jesus' example and bless people as we walk through it. Kendra brought an awareness of the holy, of hope, as people grieved and hurt, as they laughed and were silly, as they were quiet and wondering. One of her recent joys was being a salty blessing with Mennonite Action, seeking to empower the leaders and others to be persistent in their practice of peace. Kendra was a salty blessing with youth. She helped us to realize our blessedness in goofy skits on the parking lot during our COVID version of soul food at church. She sprinkled salty blessings when working with the Truth and Reconciliation Action Group. And of course, she was a salty blessing in pastoral care and worship. Kendra was and is a salty blessing for you, Pete, Kai, and Ollie. Kendra blessed your home. It was and is a sacred place where God lives. She lived, lives out that blessedness with you. In your lives, in our lives, in the messy and joyful and painful, Kendra was a salty blessing, helping us to know that God is with us in all things, even this impossible thing today. Faithful to the one who knit her together, fearfully and wonderfully made in Melanie's womb, who companioned her all the days of her life, Kendra now knows the completeness of the blessing she imparted on us. Alive in the full presence of her Creator, she will keep sprinkling her salt on us. May our lives reflect the flavor of the one who loves us and loves all. Blessings.
Let's again raise our voices in song, the hymn that was sung at Pete and Kendra's wedding and many of ours. The servant song, Will You Let Me Be Your Servant? I invite you to stand as you're able as we sing together.
My name is Fred Redekop, and I had the great privilege to be a pastor alongside Kendra Whitfield Joy Ellis, or her name, Kendra Joy Whitfield Ellis. We worked together here for 7 years, along with our administrative assistant, Vernelda Weber, and I thought we were a good team, but we were made a better team by the congregation in which we served, who surrounded us with deep love and compassion. Kendra had the wisdom very early to change her mind. I first met Kendra at a pastor's theology seminar at Conrad Grebel University College. And she was taking her Master's of Theological Studies. And she was in a class. I don't remember the class. I don't remember the professor. But I remember she must have said something wise. And it must have been who she was that I asked her, would you come and preach at Floradale Mennonite Church? I don't preach. She changed her mind. During her 7 years here with myself, she struggled with ordination, as someone mentioned. Wasn't in her tradition. It's not in the Bible. And she was a biblical person. So why would I want to be ordained? The conference wanted her to get ordained. At least she said we commissioned her, but she wasn't going to get ordained. Well, she changed her mind. That's wisdom. In recent times, Kendra asked me to pray at Mennonite Action events calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. I guess that's what I do. I pray for people. And Kendra always saw something in all of us that would make us better, and so she thought I could pray for peace in Gaza. One of our last texts, she asked me to pray at the singing from Grable to the encampment at the center of the University of Waterloo, because she was going to Ollie's graduation and she couldn't make it. And I said, sure, I can do that. Oh, you're the best. I love you. But our last text, me and her shared a passion for justice and peace, and her very last text to me was, can you write a letter to the University of Waterloo asking them to change their mind? That's wisdom. That's wisdom. Kendra typed all of her sermons before she delivered them. She was always well prepared with calls to worship, with pastoral prayers, with benedictions. And I remember her first sermon here at Floradale Mennonite, she had in a file folder her sermon. And she got up, it was a different pulpit, and she opened it up and she preached. She was always prepared with typewritten, that's not me. That's not me at all. She was wise. In honor of Kendra and for the blessing of the family, I have made some notes today. So I invite you, in any fashion that you would like, to pray with me for a blessing of the family. Let us bow in prayer. Lord of the star fields, Ancient of days, universe maker, sower of life. There are so many ways in which we want to acknowledge who you are, O God, through Jesus Christ, through the Holy Spirit. We could say many other things about who you are, but we thank you for the blessing us with your holy presence during this time together. We are grieving deeply, O God, for Peter, Kayana, for Ollie, and the rest of the family. We pray a blessing upon Elgin and Melanie, on Eunice, on Eric and Kathy, on Sadie, Nathan and Jacqueline, Melinda and Anu, Landon and Sarah, Karen and David, and Caleb. Bless us all for all the communities that Kendra inhabited with all the wisdom and blessing that she had. We are at a loss of what to do. We have all been changed in the twinkling of an eye, but not in the way in which we had hoped. We are struggling, O God, as a community, as we have all expressed, that it's difficult to go on. Bless us as we go on, as we love each other even more, as we give each other a hug just one more time as we leave today. Help us to love like Kendra did, and a love that is offered to everyone. Thank you for her saltiness, for her passion for peace and justice throughout the world. We have all been changed by any interaction that we had with Kendra, just like we have all been changed by the life and death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, who is all of our Lord and Savior. We offer to you now, O God, our thoughts and prayers in silence. Thank you, O Lord, for hearing our prayers with no words. We are in deep sorrow and loss and tears, but we know and we have hope, because Kendra has shown us the way through her faith journey, through her preaching, through her caring for all of us, that joy will indeed find a way. Maybe not today, but we hope tomorrow that joy will find a way. Lord of the star fields, ancient of days, universe maker, sower of life, thank you, O God. Well done, good and faithful servant. Amen.
I invite you to rise as we sing Jesus, Help Us Live in Peace.
Jesus, help us live in peace. From our blindness, set us free. Fill us with your healing love. Help us live in unity. Many times we must agree on what's right or wrong to do. It's so hard to really see from the other's point of view. How we long for God and faith, seeking every earthly thing. We forget the one who came as the servant, not the king. Jesus, help us live in peace.
The family invites you to stay and join them in a time of refreshments and visiting. There will be 3 stations, one in the gym, one out in the portico, and one in the foyer. You're encouraged to spread out. There are tables and extra chairs in the gym, and the tables are particularly for those who need to sit at a table for refreshments. And now, a benediction. May eternal hope show us new life. May eternal compassion comfort us in our grief. May eternal strength empower us to work for justice. May eternal love shine in us so we, like Kendra, embody God's love in this beautiful, broken world. Amen.
Our sending hymn, My Soul Cries Out.
Praise
met a man who was long and tall, who moved his body like a cannonball. Fare thee well, my honey, fare thee well. I remember one evening in the pouring rain, and in my heart was an aching pain. Fare thee well, my honey, fare thee well. Number 9 train ain't done no harm. Number 9 train, take my poor baby home. Fare thee well, my honey, fare thee well. So show us a bird flying high above. Life ain't worth living without the one you love. Fare thee well, my honey, fare thee well.
How fickle my heart and how woozy my eyes. I struggle to find any truth in your lies. Now my heart stumbles on things I don't know. My weakness I feel I must finally show. Lend me your ears and we'll conquer them all. But lend me your heart and I'll just let you fall. Lend me your eyes, I can change what you see. But your soul you must keep totally free. Awake, my soul. Awake, my soul. How fickle my heart and how rosy my eyes. I struggle to find any truth in your life. And now my heart stumbles on things I don't know. My weakness I feel I must finally show. In these bodies we will live, in these bodies we will die. Where you invest your love, you invest your life. In these bodies we will live, in these bodies we will die. Where you invest your life.